Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Purposeful Powerhouse podcast. And I am really excited to have another episode talking with amazing guests, sharing incredible tools for you to accelerate your progress, increase your impact, and really have more joy in all areas of your life. And so, my special guest today is a friend of mine and a fellow incredible speaker, Shiraz, and we are going to be talking about how you can succeed faster and actually have a bigger impact with less stress. So, welcome, Shiraz. It's great to have you. How are you?
Thank you, Meg. It's great to be here. I'm looking forward to our talk.
Thank you. I am too. Okay, so our listeners and watchers know that we like to just get right down to business. We want to get to know you. We want to know a little bit about you, about your story, about your journey, and how maybe take us to a moment in time where maybe there was a realization or an experience that helped you to shift your path a little bit and begin to really live into your purpose and do the work that you are doing today.
Okay. So that moment would be when I was 22 years old. I was at university. I was studying to be a doctor, and I was a bodybuilder. And I remember that exact moment where I was doing a bench press, and as I'm lifting my arms, I just felt this pain go on my shoulder. And I'm like, that's not muscle pain, that's something else. And within months, I had intense pain in every joint in my body as arthritis just started to ravage my body. And it was unexpected. It was uh, traumatic. You know, you had your life set out, the plans, and all of a sudden the plans are out the window. You're scrambling, trying to figure out what the hell to do now. I know people may have not gone through that physical kind of positioning, but you've had plans that have just gone out the window before, right? And you get into self judgment. What did I do wrong? What did I do to deserve this? You get into self pity sometimes. I went into depression, and I thought, well, this is just going to be my life now. And what do I do? And there was that moment where it's just like, well, no, you got to make the best of your life. So I started pushing forward and trying to have my life. Now I was still trying to get out of the arthritis. I was trying everything you're supposed to do. I tried medication, I tried diets, supplements, yoga, meditation, acupuncture. Nothing was working. And I learned to tolerate the pain and went into computers because now I could sit down, do the work, and not have to be running around and stuff. But it wasn't until 18 years later that I met the man that changed my entire perception on reality. Yeah. And I had gone to India to work with this guy. Because it was India, I thought he was going to do some sort of Reiki energy healing on me. It's like, okay, Shiraz, we're going to heal you now. Because like, nothing else had worked. I was not into spirituality at that point. About like, okay, anything. Let's get out of this. But he just talked to me for 2 weeks. He went through my entire life story, and it was like being with a psychiatrist. Only he wasn't actually trying to solve anything. He was just gathering information. And at the end of the 2 weeks, he says, Shiraz, you believe you're responsible for everyone in your life. I'm like, no, no, I don't. He's like, oh, I know you don't think you do. But from everything you've told me, you've created this belief that you need to be responsible for everyone. And it started when you were 8 years old. I'm like, okay, I know I'm a responsible guy. I don't think I'm responsible for everyone. But what's this even got to do with arthritis? It's like, oh, you don't want to be responsible for everyone. Yeah. And if you're lying in bed in pain, you don't have to be responsible for anyone and you don't have to feel guilty about it. If you're struggling just to get through the day, no one's going to ask you to take care of them. The arthritis isn't the problem, it's the solution to the problem you're not looking at. Yeah. Right. So, if my response is, well, that's messed up. And he said, but that's what most chronic illnesses are, solutions to problems people don't realize they have. I said, okay, if what you're saying is true, then all I have to do is stop being responsible for everyone else, and my arthritis should just go away. Yes, if you actually believe it deep down. So I gathered my will and I said, I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me. And guess what happened in that moment? Nothing. But I woke up the next morning, no pain, no inflammation, more mobility. I could even breathe better. So I'm freaking out because 18 years of this doesn't go away overnight. All right. And yet I'm like, oh my God, what is happening here? Now, to be clear, the damage done was still there. Right. And that's something I'm still working on fixing. And that was a big lesson for me because sometimes when you're in life's journey, you're going to get journeys and you're going to get miracles. And if all you're looking for are the miracles, you you don't get them, right? But if you're willing to go through the journey, you get miracles dropping all along the way. So as I've been rebuilding my body and willing to go on that journey, miracles in healing have been happening to speed things up, which has been great. And here's the crazy thing is I got out, there was a track that was at the place we were at, and I was on that track every day, but I was doing like this old man shuffle because my body was like the body of a 7-year-old man, except I'm getting passed by 70-year-old people on the track, which was embarrassing. But this day, I'm passing everyone. I'm passing people younger than me. I'm weaving in and out. They're looking at me going, what the hell is happening? And I'm like, I know, this is great. And when I went home, no one asked me to take care of them. No one asked me to be responsible because that was a belief created by an 8-year-old boy. It didn't actually apply in the real world, but it was governing my entire existence. So here's the cool thing. I found out this isn't just about illness. This is about everything. And this is to the lesson I want to talk about today is every consistent problem in your life is actually the solution to an emotional issue you're not looking at. And your mind prioritizes the avoidance of emotional distress over physical circumstance. So rather than feel guilt for not being able to help everyone, you created arthritis. And I've seen people do this over and over. So things like a lot of people, I want to make a lot more money. And then I said, what's going to happen when you make money? And they list all the wonderful things that are happening. But as we dig down, oh, but people are going to start asking me for money. And I don't have to deal with that. People are going to ask to invest in their business, or am I using my money right? And family's going to say, okay, you should need to take care of us. And all that emotional turmoil that comes up, your mind goes, well, wait, if we don't make the money in the first place, we don't have to deal with that. In fact, if we make as little money as possible, we definitely don't have to deal with that. And consciously, you're like, why am I not making money? Right? Unconsciously, your mind's like, thank God we're not making money.
Oh my goodness. Wow. This is just like literally absolutely incredible. And I love that you found that beautiful man that was able to give you these insights and give you such clarity.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm so happy too.
Yeah, I bet, right? I love the part when you're like, and I'm running now. I'm feeling good. Yes. That was so well, imagine. I just take us to that second. I take us into that exhilaration for a second because
Oh, yeah.
you were dealing with 18 years of
18 years.
physical pain. And then to wake up and just feel like I'm free.
Yeah. It was just, and I'm still not believing it. I'm checking because I wasn't into all that, all not that, this stuff now that I actually live my life doing. And so it was doubly freaking me out because this goes against physics. This goes against, I was into medicine. This defies all medical laws here. And yep, here we are. Right.
Right, but there is a lot of research around the placebo effect and the mind-body connection, and so it's just so incredible that you were receptive, and so he gave you that insight. And so maybe we could talk a little bit more about if these are running the show, they're unconscious,
Yeah.
right? And so they're things that we may not be aware of until we have people like you being able to shine the light, and that beautiful man that was able to give you that perspective and that awareness. So if these are unconscious stories, how can we become a little bit more aware of them ourselves? Because if they are really limiting our success, we want to be impactful, we want to reach more people, we want to do all these things, but we have this story of, yeah, but if I do that, what if I let more people down? And we're like blocking everything, unconsciously. So maybe we could talk a little bit more about that and how that might be hindering our impact and our success.
So there's two big things there. Number one is most people don't realize that emotions are a choice. Usually we're just running pre-programmed responses, which we can say are these are the emotions I feel. But depending on how you've been raised, what you've been through, you can react to a situation completely different than the next person there. Like one person, if I was to go up to three people and pull their pants down behind them, let's say that, right? The first person is just traumatized. Oh my God, Shiraz pulled down my pants. Everyone's seeing, and they run off, and that may affect them for the rest of their lives. The second one would be like, oh my God, Shiraz, why do you do this? You've done this before. Seriously, come on, it's embarrassing. Pulling up their pants is fine. And the third person is like, okay, everyone, get a good look. It's going to come up soon, right? This is your last chance. Like, those are choices. This is how they want to respond. So I had said, well, if I can't help everyone, I have to feel guilty. And now no, I don't, because that's humanly impossible. Why should I feel guilty that I can't help everyone? So when you real and lots of times we've decided what emotions we're going to feel. Like, have you ever said, "Oh, Thanksgiving dinner's coming up, and I know my family's going to annoy me." You've decided already before you're even there, right? So that's one thing, is that you can start to change what emotions you choose to feel. Number two is, in order to sort of pinpoint what's going on, instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me? What's going on here? Why do I want this to happen? What's the benefit I'm not seeing?" Right? What's the thing that's going to be horrible if I let this change? Those are the questions you want to look into, because it's you creating the situation, you creating the illness, the poverty, the lack of success, the lack of relationship. It's all you. And once you start asking those questions, those unconscious answers can bubble up to the surface. You're like, oh, it's this. I get it now. I'm not finding the right partner because when I was 6, the girl I had a crush on embarrassed me in front of the whole class. And that's still in there. And I didn't realize that. That memory just popped in my head. Things like that.
Isn't that so interesting, right? Because until we start to do the work, we're really running on these old operating systems, on these old stories, but yet we have no idea, right? Where so many people are basically, adults living in the mentality and working from the operating system of their 5-year-old self when they had that moment of letting somebody down or getting embarrassed or whatever it was. So those are great questions. Thank you. Thank you. And so would you say that, in a sense, because we've created story, we build a lot of identity around these stories and these beliefs, that we get sort of addicted to that as who we are, and addicted to that negative emotional state because we're so familiar with it that, like, putting it down might feel a little bit threatening, because and in your case, became sort of this guard. And for many of us, it's a guard of like, oh, well, don't go any further, or, you don't want to have that happen again. And so would you say that maybe it's something that we get a little bit addicted to as far as these struggle stories?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say it's something we get a lot addicted to.
Thank you for your clarification.
And this is what happens. We actually develop not intellectual, mental and physical addictions. Like, people don't realize they're physically addicted. So just like you said, it becomes a protection mechanism mentally. And so when we say we want to change it, your mind's like, but then we lose our safety. It just goes away. And your mind prioritizes safety, right? That's avoidance of emotional distress. That's safety. So you have to get to a place where you convince your mind it's going to be fine. Now, here's the other issue. If you've ever read Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. So if you're common, like, we each go through a whole bunch of emotions every day, but everyone has a default emotion that they spend most of their days in. And for a lot of people, it's frustration or fear. And your cells actually create receptors that look for the chemicals associated with your default emotion. Every emotion has its own unique chemical cocktail. So if you decide, okay, I'm not going to be frustrated anymore, I'm going to be happy, you start being happy, then your cells don't get the chemicals for frustration. They go into withdrawal. They send a signal up to your brain saying, make this person frustrated. You do something that frustrates you. So you watch something, it automatically triggers you to be frustrated. And now your cells get their fix. Then you get frustrated because you're frustrated, and your cells get a bigger fix. Right? And you're like, why isn't this working? So you actually have to go through a period of physical withdrawal to get a new default emotion. And if you don't know that, you can be trapped forever in the one you're in.
Isn't that amazing, right? And it's so funny because it's it's such an intelligent design, right? And thank you, brain, for getting us this far. But at the same time, when we are, especially in this community, entrepreneurs, and we're really pushing the threshold of comfortability, and we're trying to stretch ourselves, and we're trying to get out there, and we're going on podcasts, and we're doing all the things, and literally our brain is like, whoa, no, 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 this is really against our default emotion of feeling sad or fearful or whatever it is. And so even though we have these visions and these goals, it can be really this sort of self-protective mechanism that's holding us in that struggle. And so I see how really, making this shift and shifting that inner constitution at a chemical level is really and is very impactful as far as accelerating our progress and our growth. So I love that connection. Thank you.
Welcome. And the cool thing is, once you get addicted to a positive emotion, it's hard to get out of it.
Are they more addictive in a sense, or just because you're like, oh, I like that, I want more, and so you feed it and you fuel it more?
It's this, yeah, it's the same mechanism, but the cool thing is positive emotions are actually even healthier for your body. Negative emotions can cause a deterioration to occur, whereas positive emotions cause growth, and they can be infectious. Like, I don't know, like, I don't think it's technically emotion, but I know my body is addicted to laughter. Right? So there's reasons to laugh that show up every single day for me. But as a result, people around me tend to have a lot more fun. I've come back from workshops and with other people and get-togethers, networking stuff, and a lot of the feedback, and this has been surprising because it's happening more and more, when people are saying, give us some feedback, and they're like, oh, Shiraz just lit up the place. Shiraz made me laugh so much. And it's not that I'm trying to do this, that's just default, right?
Oh, I love that too. Yay. And that's so beautiful, right? Because there's Dr. David Hawkins talked a lot about the different vibrational frequencies of emotions and how we see that acceleration of homeostasis and joy and that illumination that comes from when we're in those more positive states. And so that's absolutely incredible. And for most people, and in the work that I do, as far as expanding our vision and getting into that emotional state of our vision, for the most part, in our vision, it's all about joyfulness and playfulness and gratitude and all of those emotions, right? But yet, if we have this inner addiction to sadness and struggle and frustration and fear, like you said, that can be really stalling us. And so, what are some of the tools that you use yourself or that you help your clients with to begin to shift this reality and change these inner states?
One tool I have these focusing audios that teach you how to focus on a specific thing for 30 seconds or more. And I found that's the key, is holding that thought for 30 seconds or more is what causes the rewiring of the neurons in your brain. If it's less than that, it doesn't work. And most people can hold a thought for 7 seconds or less. So you see why most people don't create what they want.
Yes. And then let's just stop there. 7 seconds. I know it's crazy, right? Because the brain is so active. I mean, think about, we don't even need to think about all the intricate chemical reactions and things that are happening simultaneously. But the fact that we can't hold our thoughts for more than 7 seconds it's not boding well. And, if you think about it from a social media perspective, those of us that produce content, and we know that you literally have to capture people's attention in 2 to 3 seconds. Good luck, humanity. Good luck.
Yeah.
So let's go back to your focus. I like that. So let's go back to that. So really focusing in. So I know you have a gift, but we'll talk about that in a minute. You have many gifts, but a gift that you're going to be sharing with everybody beyond what you're sharing now. But let's talk about that. And then one thing that I know that you mentioned to me ahead of us going live is intentions. Yeah. And a tool that you use. And so in yoga, we use that every time we get on the mat. And as part of our purposeful powerhouse practice, we have intentions so that we can really connect to that. And so I love that you speak on that as well. So can you talk a little bit about your perspective on intentions and how powerful they are?
So for me, there are 2 levels of intention. Number 1 is a general intention. Magic always happens for me. Things always go right. People have intentions that they don't realize are there, but they think they're using cliches. Right? There's always a price to pay. Right? You know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you go. These are all intentions that you set out and you create in your life. So my intentions are always, everything always works out for me, right? Uh, what was it? My friends always bug me because there's certain intentions I keep telling them about, and then they watch it play out. Then they repeat them back to me, which just further anchors it into me. So this is the nice fun thing: is say openly what your intentions are. That, oh, wonderful magical things. There's surprises always happen. Money falls in my lap, and then people are like, "How come money?" Oh yeah, your intention. Money always falls in your lap. But when they're speaking it back to you, they're speaking it into existence as well, right?
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes. And then the second layer of intention is visualization with emotion. So, and this is something like you hear it in The Secret. Picture yourself doing this and feeling what it's like to do that. But I found that there's a missing component that people don't know about, and that's do it in real time. Because most people say, "Oh, I can picture the house on the beach, and I can see myself doing this and that and that," but they're still doing less than 7-second segments. When you go to that 30-second segment of I am at my computer watching my bank account go and I'm transferring money from this, and you go through a whole routine that takes at least 30 seconds, to your brain, you're actually doing that. That's who you are. And the more you play that out, the more your brain thinks, well, this is just normal for me, because it doesn't care if you're imagining or doing it for real. It takes everything as true. So what happened recently is I decided I wanted to get fit again, but I didn't really have the drive to work out. So I do go for walks every day. So I spent half an hour of one of my walks imagining being back at the gym and doing the fitness routine. I do flies, and I could pull back the memory of what it felt like with the tension, the stress. I found myself breathing the same way I would do that, but I played out the entire half-hour workout every day without actually working out. And after a month, I noticed there was actually starting to be changes in my body. My body was actually working itself out, but not with the intensity of an actual workout. But the muscles were firing. I'm like, wow, this is happening. But then after about 6 weeks, I was like, I want to work out. Like the drive came in, because in my brain, this is who I am. This is what I do every day. And now I work out twice a day. I do weights in the morning and cardio in the evening, because like that's just who I am now. I still do the visualization, and I'm going to keep doing it until my body matches what's in the visualization exercise. But that anchors everything in, and it's just like, wow, I haven't been this fit in years. And it's just started from me going out for walks and imagining working out.
Congratulations. I love that. And like to take us full circle back to that point in your body and in your reality many years ago when you were crippled in pain from the arthritis and you were, getting lapped by 70-year-olds, and now you're working out twice a day and you're feeling and seeing that beautiful effect in your life. So congratulations. Celebrating you big time.
Yeah, I love it, and it's crazy how simple it is.
Mm.
All right. Now it's not easy, because you've got to do this on a regular basis. You've got to be dedicated. You've got to hold that thought for 30 seconds. But the technique is incredibly simple.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's so interesting, right? Because often in this fast, shiny world, we're always looking for, the next best strategy and the 5 steps to the 10K second and all of those things, and really when it comes back to it is these incredible practices that have been spoken about for thousands of years that
Mhm.
modern science is now just beginning to conceptually understand. And thank you for all of the people that are doing this research in neuroscience, Dr. Joe and so many incredible people. But really, not that it needed to be validated, but these ancient wisdom traditions are completely being validated and,
Mhm.
supported, because it's not just way out there stuff. Science and spirituality are really coming together, and people, thanks to what you're sharing today and so many people that are speaking to this, really starting to understand and really conceptually experience and viscerally experience that connection between science and spirituality, because it's such a beautiful overlap.
Yeah, and especially the work that's being done in quantum physics is demonstrating, well, it's not spirituality; it's actually science. Like this is the
Right?
design of the universe. Right?
Oh no. Well, thank you. And let's go back to the audios and the training our mind and learning to focus. I know you have a special gift to share with everybody. So could you please tell us a little bit more about that?
So I was taught these breathing exercises when I was in India as part of the training. I didn't know what they were supposed to do at the time, but I got used to doing them, and I do. Especially there's one where you're just breathing and imagining air coming up through from your feet all the way up to the top of your head, and then it come going back down. And that's a 12-minute exercise. I start the day with that, and it gets me focused. It calms me down, and it's teaching me to hold a thought for 30 seconds. So when you do the exercises where you add the emotions and do the visualizations, it becomes easier. And that's what I was taught to do. Now, the side effect, and I didn't realize this was happening, is when you do these consistently, that you get calmer, you get less reactive. This aura of peace starts to come out of you. And people have always said that, like, you're because I teach what I do to other people, and they say, "Well, you're teaching us how to shift beliefs and do this, but you're always in this state of calmness and non-reactivity. And how are you doing that?" And these things have become such an integral part, like just normal for me. I didn't think, "Oh, that I should teach that." Right? So when I finally figured out and it clicked, I made audios that are 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and 12 minutes long. And the cool thing is, you're trying to hold a thought for 30 seconds. So sometimes you just need 2 minutes. And this is why it doesn't have to be a burden on your day. I got 2 minutes before my next meeting. I'll just do the exercises. Right. And this is what's going to happen when you do them is you will become less reactive. You will become calmer. You will become more focused. And when you want to do the exercises to recreate your life, it's a lot easier.
I love it. Thank you. And I, again, congratulations on practicing what you preach. And clearly it's evidenced in you, and I love that. And I think that's so important because it really is a testament, and you are a testament to the work that you're doing and the journey that you've been on. And so thank you for sharing all of that. Thank you for being here today. It's been really fun to chat with you.
Thanks for having me. It's been great talking.
Absolutely. Okay. So last question.
Okay.
What does it mean to you to be a purposeful powerhouse?
For me, it means doing that thing that I mean, I'm trying to not use the word power because it seems redundant, but it empowers you, right? Right? Because there are actions we can take that drain us, and there are actions that empower us. And when you're a purposeful powerhouse, you're doing these actions that have an impact on the people around you, but at the same time, empower you to want to do more of them. And it becomes a snowball effect because then you look for more people to do it to. How can I have a bigger impact? And it grows and grows and grows. Yet it doesn't tire you out because every time you do it, it just empowers you more. And it's an amazing feeling.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, thank you for sharing that. And again, thank you for your beautiful gift. And so make sure to grab those because, yes, don't you want to be able to train your mind to focus on your vision and be able to succeed faster and have a bigger impact? Yes. Mm-hmm. So make sure to grab those great gifts from Shiraz. And thank you. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for listening and watching. And also, thank you for taking a screenshot and tagging both of us on Instagram and letting us know what landed for you. What are you going to practice? What really kind of went poof in your head and was a moment that really gave you some insight? We'd love to know that because we want to see how that's going to land in your life and take shape and take form. And so until next time, thank you for continuing to think and move and breathe and show up on purpose as the purposeful powerhouse CEO that you truly are. And take good care, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.